G'day everyone, can you hear me? First stream, bit of a test. I thought I'd just wing it. I hope people can hear me, because it'll be awfully boring if we can't. I hope people can hear me, because it'll be awfully. Awesome! Mute YouTube so you guys can't hear that. Hey Pemmy, hey James, g'day Bob. Hi Candy. Hi Joe. Hi Mr. B. Hi everyone. Hi Jerome. Hey Panda Boy. Good to see you, man. Alright guys, well, I do kind of have a bit of a plan for today's stream. First starting with saying hello and disclosing the fact that in honour of Blackie I am 4 vodkas in, maybe 5, I might have forgotten one. And hopefully you guys can't hear the pump running in the background. The mic's pretty directional. If you can, let me know and I'll go turn it down a bit further. So today, I think I want to speak about endangered species in your local area and some of the fish that that I'm having ordered in at the moment. So I'll show you guys what these fish will look like. They're not here yet, but I can show you what they'll look like and discuss how you can find out what you can do in your local area and what kind of programs you can kind of implement to release things back into the wild. So as you can tell, when I don't have the benefit of editing, I do say a bit. Hi Patricia, thank you very much. Awesome, people can't hear the pump, that's great. Yeah, I did plan on having a webcam for this. I was going to stream it on my laptop, but it's 33 degrees here today and the fan has gone in the laptop and it literally cooked itself within about 5 minutes, so that wasn't going to work. So I quickly cobbled together this footage for you guys so you can sort of get a bit of a tank tour of what's going on at the moment. The fry are pretty adorable, I do agree. Hey GRB, thanks for dropping by me. I really do appreciate it. As you can tell, I'm probably a little bit nervous, but we'll get better as I go. So I'll try and work out how to share these pictures of the fish that are coming. As you can tell, I'm very prepared. Okay. Okay, so here's the first species that I'll be getting. These are the Australian desert goby, also called the golden desert goby. They're native to Central Australia. Sometimes they, sorry, I've got a bit of a sore back. I moved a 40 gallon with a bit of water in it the other night. Never a smart idea. Now these little guys are incredibly tolerant of water conditions. I was looking into them and it's just phenomenal what they can handle. Sometimes their environment is smaller than a kitchen table, so a very, very, very small habitat that they have. They can survive massive swings in temperature, salinity, pH, all that kind of stuff. So they should theoretically be pretty easy to breed. So I'll be looking at breeding these guys. And try and work out how to get to the other window. I at least have the windows prepared. And this one, this is the best picture I could find, to be honest, is the other guy. Now, this one lives right near me. Like, I could literally walk out the door, walk 5 meters, but 5 minutes, and get to one of its natural habitats. I had no idea that they existed until a week ago. I've been a fisherman for, I don't know, 24 years in this area, and I've never seen one before, ever. If I did, perhaps I thought it was a baby native perch, something like a golden perch or something like that, but I had no idea they existed. They're a cold water fish. And apparently they're pretty easy to breed, according to the lady that I got in touch with. She's breeding them to reintroduce into my area. She lives about 2 hours away. So I'm going to help her out, and she's helping the local council out here. So I'm going to try and help with that effort around here. And that sort of leads into what I wanted to talk about. I'll go back to the footage that I've got running. Yeah, I thought so too, Panda Boy. I really did. I thought that was really interesting, and I was shocked that I'd never seen one before. So that's what I've got coming up in the future. I'm setting up tanks and stuff for it now, juggling fish, trying to find tank space. I'm thinking that I'll probably breed the pygmy perch in a 100-litre tub, maybe. They only grow to about 7 centimetres, so they're very small. And I think maybe I'll be able to get that to work, probably with egg crate across the bottom, because they are egg scatterers, and I assume they will eat their eggs. Mic is going up and down in volume. Okay, that's odd. Bear with me 1 second. All right. I don't know if that's going to be any better. I hope it is. It might actually be my own voice going up and down too. Like I said earlier, a little bit nervous. First time live. I don't think I did. It could have happened though. So I'll go back to the footage. There we go, so that people have got something to look at. Awesome, thanks, Jess. So yeah, that's the next project. I think that's something that most people, even around the world, will be able to find. I think it's electronic, is it? I can try and fix it on the fly. Yeah. How many tanks do I have, Stephanie? At the moment, I have 9 in total, but 2 have got nothing in them as yet. I keep cribs, red cherry shrimp, bristlenose, plecos, 1 extremely old guppy. That's a juvenile, so I have no idea, Anna. It's one of the babies. Hey, hi, my aquarium show. Welcome. Hi, Coral Vids. Welcome to everyone. If I missed you, I've just been, off in my own little world talking about endangered fish. He is a very cute little pleco, Chewy. And he's he or she is very good at hiding, because that's the one that's in the crib tank. And the female is still in there. Hey, Josh, how are you, mate? Well, if you can't hear audio, I should type it. Okay. So yeah, that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Hey, Derek, how are you, man? Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was fish disease, strangely enough. It's not a really great topic, but it's something that I've just come across today. And I want to talk a little bit more about the theory behind it rather than the actual disease happening. So I haven't actually added any new fish to the tank where this is happening for 8 months, something like that. And one of the convict cichlids I've noticed has a little bit of, it looks like fungus coming off one of its gill plates. Now, it could be some kind of a fluke type parasite as well, or it could be a fungus. I'm not quite sure. I'm really struggling to identify it. I might have to treat for both. But the thing that I wanted to talk about is how long these diseases can stay dormant and show absolutely no sign for. Because like I said, I haven't added a new fish for 7 months, at least. And all those fish went through quarantine. So they went through 6 weeks of quarantine before they even went in the tank, and then another 6 to 7 months. With no fish showing any signs whatsoever. And this one convict is the only one that is showing any sign whatsoever. And they're normally the tough guy fish in there. So that was the other thing that I wanted to briefly touch on and see what you guys think about that. I don't treat while I'm quarantining. I don't really see the point. You don't know what they've got. You don't know if what you're treating for is even going to be possible to what they have is even going to be possible to treat for. So my theory is just watch them if they don't show any signs. G'day, TJ, and thank you. Yes, it is a pretty cute little pleco. That's incredibly close up. It's a very small pleco. So let me drink a little bit more so I relax a bit. We'll see how we go. So anyone got any questions? Want to know anything about Rob? Anything like that? Hi, Codyson. Thanks, Joe. Awesome to see you here. Thanks for dropping in, man. I really do appreciate it. Ed, how did I miss you coming in? G'day, Ed. Native gravel? Yes, indeed. That's actually road base. I do. One for the Gobies and a tub for the southern pygmy perch. And I plan to put a better in one of my hospital tanks. And I have a 4-foot that I'm not quite decided on what I'm going to do with yet. It's either going to be a Pseudotropheus celosi breeding tank or a Neolamprolagus prashadi breeding tank. So no, I don't have any salty tanks. I'm, to be quite honest, too lazy for salt tanks. I don't know. When we assess ourselves, I think we have to be brutally honest, and I think that, yeah, way too easy. No, 24 years, only freshwater. I would imagine they would be GRB. They'd be too small to eat frogs, I would imagine. Tiny. Eat tadpoles, I suppose. But yeah, I think they're a brilliant looking little fish too. And yeah, that's the other issue as well, Jess. I don't have the room for a salt tank here, and the place isn't on a concrete slab. So anything over about a 60-gallon tank is just too dangerous to have here. The house is over 100 years old, I think. and I don't think it's ever been re-stumped. So parts of the floor sag without even having a tank on them. So yeah, I'd be way too scared to put a bigger tank than a 60 in here. Yeah, I could do a nano reef. I am kind of interested in learning, actually. Started with a 10-gallon. I've seen your cove, Anna. You got much more than a 10-gallon now. Yeah, I know. Bob's puffers are amazing. All of Bob's tanks are amazing. It's got some good stuff going on. Any bucket list fish? A lungfish, yeah. An Australian lungfish would be awesome. A bashir, but that's not going to happen because I can't get them here. So I have to live vicariously through James from Fish Room Fever, who kindly let me name one of his bashirs after I complained that he kept showing off. Good night, TJ. Thanks for dropping by, mate. You might be able to get Bashir GAB, but I can't. I'm pretty sure they're illegal in Victoria. I've never seen one, ever. I named James's one Bam Bam from the Flintstones because I thought it was kind of appropriate for a prehistoric looking fish like a bashir. But yeah, I would absolutely love to have a bashir. I want to have Oscars again. I have had them, so I guess they're not a bucket list fish. But once again, the 60-gallon limit kind of screws me there. I tend to understock rather than overstock. So yeah, a 60 is just a little bit too small to put more than one Oscar in, that's for sure. For me, anyway. I love Oscars. They're so smart. Like, they're so smart that they get depressed if they don't like where they are. It probably happens when I turn my head, Bob, so I'll try and stay still. Oh, fire eels. I would love to have a fire eel. That would also be pretty cool. But over the years, I've kept most of the fish that I've wanted to in the freshwater hobby. There's a few rarer ones that I would like to get my hands on, of course. A neck brace, yes. I'll have to get one. I'll tell you what, after moving that 40 the other night, GRD, I probably need a neck brace. I didn't feel it the day after, but 2 days after, I am definitely feeling it. Discus I've kept before, yep. I didn't manage to get them to breed, which was a bit disappointing, but I did keep them for years before I sold them on because I did get a little bit bored with them. I'm just trying to think of what kind of bucket list fish that I really would have. I haven't had a zebra pleco yet, and I really do want one. I always have. My beard's not that long at the moment, Blackie. So pinning anything to it at the moment would be very, very difficult. And I'm not wearing a shirt at the moment, so I can't even pin it to that because it's, as I said before, 33 or 34 degrees here today. It is super hot in my study. And I can't have a fan on because you guys will be able to hear it. So just going to deal with it like a true Australian. Also, I'm been a bit sick for the last couple of days, so if I do mute my microphone, it's just so I can cough and that you guys won't hear it. So I'm just about to do that now. All right, back and breathing. No, I've never had a sunshine pleco. I've had a gold spot pleco. Rabbit! G'day, mate. How are you? So glad that you could come, mate. Seriously, so glad you're all right after that bushfire, mate. Well, I don't want to be coughing at people. My mum brought me up the right way with some manners. The occasional 1 or 2 manner, anyway. So, yeah. I'm just stoked that Rabbit turned up. Love Rabbit. So how are my green terrors going, Rabbit? And how many crebensis do you want? You can have like 100 if you want. I can send them to you. It's not a problem. Oh. Yeah, I agree. Thirsty, I saw that footage, mate. I was pooing in my pants for you, buddy. Bushfires are never good over here. Jerome, yes, I do have a shrimp tank. I breed shrimp. There was some footage of the breeding tank before. I think there's some close-ups of some really big ones that are in the 40, or were in the 40. The cribs are going in there, so it's going to be a holocaust. But to be honest, I have enough shrimp with the one shrimp tank breeding and the backup tank that I have as well. So yeah, I do keep shrimp. I don't keep the fancy ones. Once again, probably because I'm lazy and they require more work. Yeah, they probably will breed again, Chewy. Probably will. So yeah, Jerome, that tank, the footage there, you can actually see there's algae growing on the sides of it. I let it be as dirty as you can possibly imagine with algae and stuff like that. I never vacuum the substrate. I just leave it alone, and they absolutely love it in there. They just, it's phenomenal how quickly they reproduce. The other week, I think I sold 300, including the culls that I sold to a guy as live food. And honestly, I could not tell the difference. And it's only a 20 gallon. I mean, it's not a huge tank. There are so many shrimp in there, though. But yeah, Rabbit, I was stoked to hear that you dodged that bullet there, because that was a bad one. They're just the typical red ones, Tiffany. So yeah, and they range from the deeper red to the fire red. I do try and cull the best that I can, but once again, a bit lazy, so sometimes it doesn't happen for a while, and then I end up with a lot of culls, and I sell them off for like 25 cents each to people as live food for turtles and fish and things like that. Chewy, I agree. I love crebensis too. They're one of my favourite fish. With the footage that's on in the background, I just edited out the bits that didn't have fish in them. Apparently this bit just has a tail. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But yeah, so the footage is mainly raw. Just if it didn't have any fish in it, I got rid of it. Cribs are literally one of my favourite fish. I'd forgotten how cool they were until I got them again, to be honest. Yeah, rabbit. Like I said, I thought it was amazing. You know, we went through the Black Friday fires, whatever it was, Saturday, something, I can't remember, around here. And the fire got to within 600 metres of my mum's house. We were all up on the roof waiting for it to come, and then the wind changed. It was just lucky. Well, a couple of people died in town around here from that fire. So, yeah, she really dodged a bullet that day. But, yeah, nothing scarier in Australia than a bushfire. It's so dry here, and everything just goes up. Lol, Zen. And g'day, Zen. I don't think I caught you coming in. To be honest, I'm too busy trying not to swear and not to stumble over my words. Blue Zebra and Boona, Anna. They are awesome. I love them. Yep, me too, Rabbit. I take my hat off to anyone who fights fires. It's an amazing job that they do, especially in country Victoria where they're all volunteers. Every last one of them. Amazing job they do. Amazing. You know, and it's not like it's not a lot of hours that they put into it either. They do put a lot of time into fighting fires, and they're amazing. Yeah, Jess, I know. He does. I'm trying not to. I think I've done a pretty good job so far. So what's everyone else up to? What are we doing today or tonight? Or what have we done for most of you guys over in the States? It's kind of that getting to that time of day. Oh, I wish I could quit with this coughing. It would be nice, but, you know, we deal with it. You're at work, Don. What time is it for you? Nice, GRB, nice. You'll take a 3-foot pack, Rabbit. All right, I'll work that out. No worries, Jerome. No worries at all. I'm just impressed that anyone came by, to be honest. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it. I'll do my best to fill in for Blackie. I can't sing, or at least I don't think I can. Same thing as you, James. Don is a male stripper. Okay, fair enough. You're trying to draw a seahorse? I'm sure you're doing an awesome job of it, Anna. You got hard water there, Chris. Yeah, I have hard water as well. So I'll be interested to see how these ones come out sex-wise. They're just going to stay in the 20 gallon to grow out. I'm going to take the female out. I was supposed to do it last night, but procrastination king, I was very tired and very sore, so I just went to bed. And as yet, they're not awake yet. So being 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're probably wondering why their lights haven't come on. It's because Dad's busy. Kids just got done carving the pumpkins. Awesome. Halloween never used to be a thing here when I was a kid, but nowadays it definitely is. My nieces and nephews and stuff, I always take them out trick-or-treating. Just as important as singing, you reckon? Oh, I don't think so. That man's got talents coming out of his rear end. Not to mention having Sarah with him who can, handle the art and stuff. So for the new guys here, this is my main tank, the 60, with the African cichlids in it, and with the pair of female convict cichlids. Both of those are female. They act like a pair, down to trying to lay eggs from time to time. Yeah, I do kind of plan on it, 44. I'll just have to find a spot. Yeah, this is by far and away my favourite tank. I love it. The fish are absolutely amazing. Most of them hand feed, except for Grover. Grover's the big blue dolphin in the background. He knows that I'm a softie and that I'll just... what's the bright yellow one? That's a yellow lab. Bob? Electric yellow lab. Libidochromous ceruleus, I think. And most of the other Africans are peacocks, except for Grover the dolphin. Yeah, for sure. FRF, definitely. Definitely, I'll do that. Not a problem at all. I'm going to have to go and buy a webcam now because clearly the one on my laptop is of no use to me. So we'll see how we go there. Red-eyed. Oh, the red-eyed one. The orange one, you mean? Or the white one with a bit of an orange tinge? They're both albino dragon blood cichlids. Peacock cichlids, sorry. So an Alona... Let me try and spit out the Latin here. Alonicara hybrid species. That's something that a lot of people don't realise, that things like OB peacocks and dragon blood peacocks are actually hybrids. So yeah, there's 2 males of those in there. There is 2 what I was told were Eureka Reds, but I'm starting to think they're more look like Red Reuben peacocks. In there, a male and a female. And there's, I'm not quite sure how many fry are in there, to be honest. There's a few. Yeah, that the one that sort of sits there that the convict cichlids come in and out of, the really odd shaped one. I found it in an op shop. It was like $2, so I thought that'd look good in a tank. I'll put that in there. They're not too bad, Bob, to be honest. They're no more aggressive than Jack Dempsey's, that's for sure. Yeah. Hi, Monica. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for turning up. Really appreciate it. But yeah, oh, here we go. Here's some puppies for people. I thought people would appreciate this. I thought this was the cutest thing I'd seen in quite some time. Giving each other a hug too. Oh well, he's hugging her anyway. So the white one's name's Patches and the black one's name is Boss. Yeah, so any other questions? I don't know, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. Blackie's obviously much better at waffling on than I am. Yeah, these cribs are awesome. Absolutely awesome. They're becoming very, very tame too. Yeah. Now, what Anna said, Bob, they chase each other around, but they very rarely hurt each other. They sometimes fight, but what I found is they generally only fight as they grow. They get a bit more confidence in their own abilities, and they think that they can possibly move up the pecking order in the tank. And that's when you get a bit of a fight, and you'll see a couple of torn fins. But that's all you ever see, and generally within a day or two, it's all healed up. So, yeah. Tell the story about the cribs. Which one? The one where she nearly killed him, and he had to swim into the net to get away. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can tell that story. So what happened with these cribs and the babies that you guys have seen? When I first set up the tank, within about a week, they started trying to breed in a cave, and so I watched them for a few days, and it was all fine. And then everything appeared normal, that they were going to breed successfully. And then one day she kicked him out and started beating him up, and I thought that I'd have to remove him at that stage. So I had to set up a tank for him very, very quickly, and I did, and pulled most of the water out of that tank. And I must have disturbed her, and she'd given up on beating him up, and they were back to normal. Fast forward another 2 weeks, and they were back in the cave again, trying to have breed again. And the exact same thing happened. And I thought, well, obviously, same things happen. They've failed again. He's eaten the eggs or something, and she's gone nuts on him. Once again, I just left him in there, and he hid under the filter for a day, and then she was leaving him alone. And then one day I was walking past the tank, and sitting over the filter was the female and the male, and they had a massive ball of fry around them. And I was like, well, that's strange. I thought they were all dead. So fast forward about a week, and they'd both been looking after the fry. And then one day she just snapped. I'm not quite sure why she decided to do it, but she started beating him up. And I tried leaving him in there, and after about a day, she let him come back near the fry again. Then a day later, she'd kick him out again. It was repetitive. It happened over and over again. But in the end, she wouldn't let him back near them at all. And his natural instinct to parent meant that he kept trying to go back over there to try and help out. And she went very close to killing him. So I had to get him out. And when I actually went to catch him out, he was up near the surface and he was just trying to hide in the corner. And I literally put the net in the water. He swam over into the net and basically jumped in for me. I literally did not have to catch him. He got in. So I'm pretty sure he wanted out badly. So yeah, that's basically the short version of that story. Shorter. But yeah, that's what happened. It was very, very interesting. And strangely enough, like, because of my procrastination, and I am pretty bad at it, these fry are about 5.5 weeks old now. Normally the female would have chased them away, but because there's no male in there, and she's not getting ready to breed again, she's still parenting them. She's doing a damn good job of it too. Like, they're very independent now. They're spread all over the tank. They're not in a big ball. But yeah, normally it's after about 28 days she'll start trying to chase them off and breed again. But that hasn't actually happened. But yeah, I've just been really interested in their behaviour, the way they communicate with the fry, the way that she tells them there's danger, the way that she tells them which way she wants them to go. It's actually very apparent when you watch it. Like, you know, she'll do a little danger signal, which is her swishing her body very hard. sort of vibrating the water, and that tells them all that there's danger around. And then she lets them know which direction she wants them to go by moving very fast in that direction and then backing back. And yeah, it is. It's a little danger dance. Until all the fry follow her. Nowadays, she's having much less success with that because, like I said, they are quite independent now. But they're growing quickly. I'm feeding them 4 times a day, so they'd want to be. But yeah, cribs particularly fascinate me. Their parenting skills are second to none. Oh, here we go again. Everyone told you in Dan's fish stream the day that you got them, they were mean as heck. Which ones, Bob? Sorry? Oh, the giant cribs. Yeah, I actually do want to see those giant cribs. Rabbit. A few times now when watching the green terrors breeding, I will lay what I call feed eggs to the feed. Oh, okay. I've never seen anything like that. That's amazing, Rabbit. What do you expect from the channel, Jess? Well, I'll be doing some live streams, more Q&A live streams. Like I said, I've been doing this for 24 years. On the freshwater side of things, there's not too much that I haven't seen, or you know, had to go through. I've had tanks decimated by fish TB. I've lost fish because I've had to be in hospital, and the person that I asked to look after the fish just quite simply didn't, and they starved. I was in there for 6 months, so things like that, you know. What else can you expect? You can expect me to see me attempting to breed at least some endangered species here, or at least threatened species. I think they're threatened nationally and endangered locally around me. So that's probably going to be the biggest part of my focus, is trying to breed those fish. Yeah, I am really excited by it. I'm in contact with a guy from the local council too, so I'm sort of hoping that I might be able to get some kind of grant money for doing it. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see what happens. But it certainly would help out. I mean, you guys know keeping fish isn't exactly cheap, especially when you've got to set up for them and things like that. Go walkabout, Monica? I don't blame you. Honestly, I do not blame you. Sounds like a good plan. Oh, I see you, Blackie. He's off. So what kinds of fish? The endangered ones you're talking about? I showed some pictures of them earlier, Jess. I can go back and show you again. That's not a problem. I've still got the pages open. I shall do that. So we'll stop that one. So they're the first ones, Jess, the desert gobies. Yeah, that's a male and a female. As you can see, the females are fairly plain. The males aren't. I think I've got a picture of just the male by itself as well. I thought I did. I don't. And the other one, the one that's close to me, is this little guy here. This is the best picture I could find of it, the biggest picture I could find of it. It's southern pygmy perch. So yeah, those little guys there as well. Those are the ones that I'm most excited about because I can actually breed them, go down to the local creeks and release them myself, which would be absolutely awesome. The southern pygmy perch, me too. And I'm amazed I've never seen one. I've even gone down to the local creeks and caught small fish, particularly for putting into aquariums. And the only thing that I ever found were mosquito fish, gambusia, I think they are. Literally the only small fish that I ever found. So yeah, we really do have bad problems here with invasive species. Not ideal. And I'll find the footage again. Now, this footage here that you're seeing is before the cribs had fry, and the bristlenose actually ruled the tank. But yeah, nowadays he hides for his life. Pretty good at it though. Worse than Florida? Indeed, Chewy. 90% of the fish in the Murray-Darling River system, which is Australia's biggest river system, are carp and invasive species. And then you've got things like mosquito fish on top of that, redfin perch, trout. All of those things aren't native. So the percentage of fish in the Murray-Darling system that is native, I would suggest is somewhere around 1%, maybe. Maybe. Not at this time, Bob. I'm filling for Dr. Black. I can't take Dr. Black's spot away. I enjoy his stream way more than I enjoy my own. I agree, Thirsty. Very, very, very sad. Very sad indeed. Which is why I'm not completely against this herpesvirus business that they're talking about. Something has to be done. They've released 2 viruses in Australia so far. They haven't jumped species to control rabbits. Yeah, I'll try and find a time. I'll definitely find a time. Maybe just this time on a different day, where there's no one else, because you know it's a bit later and all the big guys aren't streaming. Yeah, myxomatosis is one of them, and the other one's the Saltwater virus. Now, the Myxomatosis virus lost its effectiveness, but it never jumped species. And no, not rabbit herpes, no. And the second one was the Saltwater virus. And as far as I know, that's still effective. And what I can tell you is that since I was a kid to now, the number of rabbits that I see, I almost see no rabbits at all. Yeah, the cane toads are a good problem. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with those rabbits. No idea whatsoever. I'm not a biological scientist. I'm just a guy who takes an intense interest in these things. Yeah, I know, Monica. I know. G'day, Max. How are you, mate? Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, cats are also really bad. I love cats too. Like, I really do. But the feral ones in Australia are tearing the guts out of our native wildlife, literally. So yeah, that kind of, and feral dogs too. Like, I grew up in the country till I was 13 years old. So I grew up hunting and fishing and doing all of those sort of things, working on farms. There were times as kids where we got bailed up by packs of wild dogs, feral dogs, and had to like hit them with our fishing rods to get them to nick off. So yeah, it was pretty scary, to be honest. You know, they're not huge dogs, they're mongrel looking things, but they're not dingoes either. Yeah, I think cats should be should be kept indoors most of the time. And if they're not indoors and they are outside, they should be in a cat run. Honestly, they're just so efficient as predators. And in places where they're not native, they just overwhelm the native animals. Yeah, it is. It's very, 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 very scary when you get bailed up as an 8-year-old kid by a bunch of dogs. Very. But yeah, as long as you don't run away, you're generally pretty fine with most animals. Yep, me too, GRB. Me too. They're not house cats, that's for sure. What do they call them? I think they call them super cats. So yeah, I think the biggest one recorded somewhere around 1 meter tall at the shoulder. Something around there anyway. Might have been 1 meter long. I don't know, but it's a damn big cat for a domestic one. Again, no. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to mute it and make sure that all the keys are, all the cords are plugged in properly. Just give me 1 second. Okay, can you guys hear me? I think I got it fixed, maybe. I hope. Of course, I disconnected something and then it wouldn't recognize it as I was trying to plug it back in. I hope you guys can hear me. Yes! Bingo! Winner, chicken dinner. That was very, very, very frustrating. 6 times I had to plug that mic in before it'd be recognized. It's quite good. That blue light footage was just, that's what they get before they go to bed for about 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, I am breathing. BRB. I'm trying to anyway. I'm feeling a lot more relaxed than I was earlier anyway. So there is that. The vodka is helping, indeed. So yeah, what do we got on screen here? We have a holding female peacock there, which she has spat again. And as I walked out this morning, Grover and her were holed up inside that little barrel ornament there. I'm not sure what they were doing, but I think they were getting their freak on again. So there might be 3 batches of frying there soon. Vodka is definitely helping, guys. Definitely helping. And the cigarettes as well, to be honest. Yeah, Bob, I'm just imagining you naked, mate. That's getting me through this whole thing. You know what they say about public speaking? Just imagine the crowd naked. Yeah, I'm just doing that. Yeah, well, what would a first stream be without some technical difficulties, Jess? It just wouldn't be an adequate first stream. Yeah, that's Grover, Monica. He's a blue dolphin or a Maury dolphin. Certicara morai, sorry. And yeah, I agree. He's an absolutely beautiful fish. The fry is starting to get a very faint blue sheen like he has, and a red head like the red Reuben peacocks. I think they're red Reubens. I was told Eureka Reds, but I think they're red Reubens. So yes, the fry in there are hybrid, but you know, it's not like I'm going to be selling them to anybody. Yes, I am, Jess. I am indeed. I would not miss it for the world. I've been complaining that we can't get to places like Aquashella and stuff like that down here. So yeah, definitely, I would not miss it. Seeing as it's in Melbourne, that's like an hour and a half drive, or maybe 2 hours on the train. I can handle that for sure. Yeah, Thirsty says he's going to be there. I'm pretty sure Doc Black's going to be there. And I can't see why Aquamate wouldn't be there. He lives in Melbourne. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting little period for Australian YouTubers, especially if all us nut jobs get together. And I think Pronalot said he'd be coming over as well, Lockie, from Adelaide. You'll be flying in Thirsty. It's only 8 hours away, mate. Just drive it. 6 if you're quick, if you know what I mean. You brought a ticket tonight, Jess? Well, I've got my fingers crossed for you, for sure. Aquamate said George Farmer is coming to his area. Nice. Yep, there you go. Max just confirmed Aquamate's going and Max is going, which would be great. I'll get to meet Max as well, which would be awesome. I wish I could win the lottery, but I can't even bring myself to buy a ticket, Jess, because I know the odds and I'm a scientific man. So I just can't do it. $70 plane trip. Nice, mate. You sure it's going to make it, though? Cheap at twice the price. That is absolutely true. You can't win if you don't play, but if you do play, your odds of winning are something ridiculously small. So I can't do it. Yeah, I'm like Bob. Very much like Bob there. So what else has been going on over here in the wide world? Yeah, apart from fish things, not a great deal new has been going on for me. Generally the same old. Pay to play. Yeah, well, that is it. I play occasionally for the dream. Yeah, and look, I don't blame people for buying them at all. I don't think they're silly for buying them. It's just personally not for me. Is he coming back tonight? I don't think so. He had to take his mum to the doctor, I think. So that would be a considerable stream from me, and I do not have that kind of endurance. It's not going to be a 4-hour stream from Rob like Dr. Black or Fish Room Fever. Those men have far more endurance than I do. How are things in the Thunderdome? Great. Like I said, this morning there was a bit of hanky-panky going on, I think. Yeah. It's a very weird tank. Everyone sort of has their own spot that they go to, and if the lights are out, they don't really do much. They just sort of hang around in their spot most of the time, to be honest. And then if I happen to come out, they all come to the front. If I sneak out and get footage of them, it looks like the tank's a barren wasteland with just Grover sitting there out in the open because, you know, the whole tank is his. Hi, Pemmy. You're lurking with your assassins, I hope. I would certainly hope there are assassins with you. Yeah, I hope she wins for sure. I couldn't think of many people more deserving. Yeah, all the most recent footage I have of these crib fries is actually still undownloaded. So I do have a video coming out that is an update on the Thunderdome, and one that's also an update on the fry themselves. These guys here, because it's been a little while now. Like I said, they're about 5.5 weeks old now, and very, very, very independent. Like, they're just spread out all over the tank. But they're awesome to watch. They're starting to lose those spots, and I would assume they're starting to develop their crib markings. But yeah, these are such an underrated fish, I think, because they're so common and so easy to breed. And this footage here is a good example of a shrimp that needs to be culled, the one that went past in the foreground, and a perfectly good one in the background there, fire red one. This is in the 40-gallon, which actually has fish and stuff in it as well. The shrimp bred completely out of control in there. The other day when I moved the tank, I took, I think, at a rough estimate, about 400 out before I lost patience and then moved it with the rest of the shrimp in there and the sand and a few inches of water. And hurt myself in the process. So, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that at home, kids. Just don't do it. And Chris tried to warn me, but I didn't get the warning until after I'd actually done it. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Derek. Those assassins are ridiculously underpaid, and that's why they just keep failing. Pam does make everything better, Ed. And she can draw a bit too, I heard. And paint a bit. Her drawings and paintings are amazing. When I say things like that in the comments of her things, that people realise that I'm only joking. I think it's abundantly obvious to everyone that she is an amazing painter. All right. Well, it's not like it's a secret, Pam, that you can... Do I have a favourite plant? You know damn well I have a favourite plant. FRF, my favourite plant is Java moss, for aquariums anyway. By far and away. Every time I see someone say it was 48 here today, I think, well, that's extremely hot. But then I remember it's Fahrenheit, and that's cold. Yeah, Java moss is by far and away my favourite plant. How old is that guppy? You said he was pretty old, at least 4.5 years old, Stephanie. He was born in the tank that he's in. I know exactly how old he is, kind of. But I used to have a project breeding red cobra guppies. He used to be a cobra guppy. All the black dots, I think, have faded from his tail. His tail's less than half the size that it used to be. And I don't think it's fin rot. It hasn't been quick. It's just slowly happened over time. I think he's just getting old, and really, really old for that matter. And he used to be at least doubly as bright as that, and a sort of a deep red rather than the orange that he is now. I guess they're just like us. As we get older, we get faded. Hair goes a bit on the grey side and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's just old. Really old. And, you know, guppies generally only live to 2 to 3 years, so he's super old. So I changed his name from Flash to Methuselah, like the old guy in the Bible. Because Flash certainly doesn't suit him anymore. See you, Monica. Drive safe. Make sure you get where you're going. Yeah, me too, GRB. Bitter and twisted. It's the best way to be. No, I'm not really that bitter. By the way, this footage is on a loop. I think it's like an hour and a bit loop, so eventually it will just loop on itself. You may inside a right. Cool. Do you need a wrench to inside a right? Actually, you do need a wrench. Anyone want a wrench? Heat-seeking wrenches are now being deployed. Do I have a bashir? No, but I have a vicarious bashir. Bam, bam. You want a wrench, Jess? Jess gets a wrench. You get a wrench. You get a wrench. Everybody gets a wrench. I think I say too many weekend words for a wrench. Yeah, me too. I am very much censoring myself. You can have one too, Dan. Actually, I better give you one, because otherwise you might get abused. There you go, Dan. Actually, that's what I might have to do with my 4-foot tank for now. Thirsty, set it up for the green terrors. Good thing I thought about that. I have no idea how old they would have to be before you can sex them. So I might have to take a few, and then I've got a mate who's actually after some. So I'll talk to him and see if he can take any that I can't home, and that way I can get you to send down a few. And you know, if you get 4, then you're likely to get at least 1 male and 1 female, aren't you? Ed needs a wrench. Ed's getting a wrench. You get a wrench. Yeah, Dan does need a wrench for protection. Exactly, Candy. That's why I gave it to him. I won't have any plans to fish room fever to buy any while I'm there, but that will never stop me because it's never stopped me before. I've literally bought fish, come home, set up the tank and put them in it. Well, had no plans on buying them at all. And I assume that will happen again if there's something cool. I'm not scared of you. Have a wrench, Pam. Boom, done. Wrenchathon is trending this week. Hashtag Wrenchathon. Exactly, Max. And I won't have any plans. I'll just probably have a tank set up just in case. And look, my hospital tank's always set up. It's got shrimp in it, or it used to. The male crib's been in there for a while now. There might not be any shrimp left. But I can always put more back in once I take him out, so that's not an issue. I literally have many thousands in here. Chris is scared of Pam. Yeah, I'm scared of Pam too, but I'm not that scared of her. I know it's mainly bark. Sweet, Thirsty. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I'll have a talk to my mate. He works at the local fish store, and he was saying he's having problems because his female GT is much bigger than his male. I mean, new ones aren't going to help that, but he might be able to set up a separate tank, grow some things out. It's the non-bark that's terrifying. I agree, Bob. I agree, 100%. I have 4 dogs and 4 cats, and all of them are heat-seeking missiles. Yeah, they can be, that's for sure. Try English staffies. It's unbelievable how many times they just run straight through you, like as if you're not there. Especially if there's a ball involved. If you throw a ball and then stand in between that dog and that ball, you're going over. There's just no two ways about it. And it doesn't hurt their heads at all. They just smash straight through you. Heads like a brick. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it, Dan? Really amazing. 20 million trees. It's definitely needed. Definitely. In fact, much more is needed, to be honest. But, you know, it's definitely a very, very good start. And a very honourable thing to be doing. Whoa. I made a massive vodka when I started because I knew I wouldn't be going anywhere for a little bit. And it's almost all gone. You might notice the note of sadness in my voice when I said that. So I might have to duck away quickly for a second and refill my beverage and possibly wrestle a crocodile as well. definitely wrestle a crocodile. All right, I'm going to go wrestle a crocodile. I will be back in just a moment. There we go. Crocodile has been subdued and the vodka has been refilled. All is good in the world. Well, maybe not all, but a lot of things are good in the world, especially the trees they're planting. Just reading your story there, Rabbit. That's a fun one. I get along amazingly well with dogs. So normally even vicious dogs don't bark at me. I've had one dog kind of try and bite me once. When I was about 6 years old, I tried to ride a German Shepherd and it did not like that one little bit at all. But it sort of just hit me with its nose. It didn't actually try and snap at me. So yeah, that's my one story of actually being terrified of a dog. And I was 6 and immediately started crying and ran home. It was my next door neighbour's dog. I'd known it for years. But yeah, like I said, he didn't like it very much. You guys can still hear me, I hope. Sweet. No problem. Yeah, I think we've hit the loop here and we're back to looking through the old footage. I can add something else if you guys like. I'll find something else that I've filmed so I don't get a copyright strike. Because no one wants one of those. have we got? We'll try this one. I think this one's kind of appropriate because of the intro from Dr. Black, who we're all here in honor of. Hippos down in Colombia? I actually didn't know that, Chewy. Did not know that at all. They have hippos in Colombia. I actually watched something on YouTube the other day about a plan to introduce hippos into the United States in the early 1900s. To put in the swamps in Florida and Louisiana, I think, and use as a source of meat. I could not think of a worse animal to introduce. The most dangerous animal on the planet, literally the animal that kills more people than any other animal on the planet, is the hippo. So, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, they are extremely dangerous, Chewy. And there was a plan to introduce them to the United States. I didn't know about it. I'm not quite sure how I stumbled across it. You know, YouTube algorithms and all that sort of stuff. It just popped up and I saw the thumbnail and I thought, hippos, United States, what? Had a look and yeah, it was definitely an interesting story. But yeah, you guys who live in Florida could be dealing with hippos right now rather than just alligators. Hippos are much, much worse than gators. Oh, rabbit. I loved it, mate. I loved it. I can't wait to use it. Thank you so much for doing one. There's a few that are backlogged before you. I think Dawn Michelle is next up. And then there's one from Daniel Keeping Fish, and then you're up, I think. You've been in that pool, have you? When you went to visit him? Sarah's pool. It's an amazing pool, isn't it? I assume it would have been cold when you went up there. It was a bit earlier in the year. I doubt it'd be quite so cold now. It's certainly not cold here today. Oh, Chewy. I got you, buddy. I didn't see you ask for a wrench earlier, but you've got a wrench. Like I said, everybody gets a wrench. Anyone who wants a wrench. Indeed, Derek. Get me my elephant gun. The hippos are coming. Well, I'm kind of a fan of the wolf, but yeah, if they hadn't been there for decades. Oh, that bit of footage always scares me. It looks so much like that fish got eaten, but that's the big fry in the tank, and he's definitely still in there. Still makes me jump every time I watch it. Even when you watch it frame by frame, that little bit of footage there where he looks like he's being eaten, even when you watch it frame by frame, you can't see that he hasn't been eaten. But it's definitely that fish. He's very easily identifiable. He's by far and away the biggest one in there. The kids had blue lips. Yeah, kids are like that though, aren't they? You get them in the pool, you can't get them out. The hippos from down there are from Pablo Escobar. Actually, I think I remember something about him having a zoo with hippos and a bunch of other really cool exotic animals. And when he got arrested and, well, killed or whatever happened to him, I'm pretty sure he got killed. His men just let them go, or I don't know. Or they broke out when they got hungry. That happened with me when I was about 8 years old. We had a project where we had to raise a mouse, and I happened to take my mouse and another mouse home. They were male and female. Within about 6 months, I think I had like 60 mice, in this mouse cage. And then we went away on holidays, and I asked my friend to come around and feed them. He never did, and they chewed their way out. And then we had snakes in our backyard for about the next 9 to 10 months. Mum was pretty happy about it. You know, mums generally like mice that get out in the backyard, in the shed. You thought he'd been eaten? Yeah, I did too. It looked like he'd been eaten, but he's definitely still in there. He's actually quite cool. He comes to the front of the tank like all the other fish now and hangs out with them. And he very rarely gets chased, I assume, because he's not seen as any kind of threat to the pecking order as yet. But yeah, he comes right up to the front and does the trying to swim through the glass thing when I'm feeding them. Yeah, a box full of dead mice wouldn't have been great, Derek. Indeed. It would not have been very good at all. It would have been quite stinky too. So there is that. And the snakes were definitely well fed. And I'm a big fan of reptiles, so there is that. Oh, that's another interesting thing that I saw today. Now, anybody who's familiar with Malawi cichlids will know that a lot of them will build what's called a bower in the wild. It's like a big mound with a flat top on it. It looks like Grover is trying to build one of those and decorate it by the look of things. He's moved a rock that I wouldn't have even thought he would be able to carry from the pile of stones that you can see underneath the fake rocks there, over to the top of his little pile of sand that he's made. It looks like it's, yeah, like I said, one of the natural type bowers that they make. And like I said, it looks like he's decorating it with one of these rocks that you can see there. Like, how can a fish, even a big fish like him, move a rock that size? How can they get their mouth around it? That's what I don't get. Hi, Ambust Aquatics. Hi, Big J. Welcome to my first stream. I apologise in advance for the lack of experience at streaming, but I'm trying, and I'm sure I'll get better. But yeah, those rocks aren't small. They're sort of about the size of a quarter, and for my American friends, or a 20-cent piece for my Australian friends. And they're fairly solid. So I don't know how he moved it. I really don't. I'm puzzled. But I'm impressed as well. And the behaviour is kind of interesting, I think, you know. Like I said, it looks like he's making some kind of decorated nest for getting busy with the females. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And yeah, in some of this footage here, you saw the little guys chasing each other around. I'm 100% convinced that there aren't as many in there now as there were back when I filmed this. I thought there were about 10 in there back then. I think I'm down to 2. I don't think it's the adults eating them at all. I've seen absolutely no evidence of them wanting to eat them. What I think it is the other larger fry are killing off the smaller ones. These little guys are actually vicious. Like, they chase each other way, way, way more than the adults do. And they're relentless too, like, absolutely relentless. In some of this footage, you can see the slight blue sheen on his dorsal fin there. So I'm really excited about how these two guys are going to turn out, and whether or not the next lot will also, survive in there. I'm not particularly hopeful because I think these little guys can get everywhere that the fry can get, and they will be relentless with them. I think the next batch of fry after that will probably survive in there pretty well. No, Jess isn't old enough to be a granny. She's old enough to be a shrimp granny, though. Shrimp only live for 2 years. Yeah, I don't think they see them as a food source at all. And my fish are extremely well fed. Like, they're just all fat. And to be honest, they barely have the motivation to go after food that doesn't run away, let alone stuff that does. I mean, you can see him. He just swims around near them. He's small enough for them to eat. With shrimp, she's probably a great-grandmother about 5 million times, well, probably not 5 million, 5,000 times removed. They start breeding at about, I don't know, from my experience, I'd say it would be inside a month that they start breeding after they're getting around. So, yeah. Your platties don't eat any of their fry? Yeah, I found the same thing with my mollies even. Guppies, as long as you give them enough hiding spots, even if they do, enough will survive for you to quickly outbreed the size of your tank. But yeah, my mollies didn't seem to eat any of her babies. I bred mollies for years, a line of white sailfin mollies. They were really nice, with like a lace pattern on the fins, high fin sailfin mollies. They were really nice fish, actually. I really enjoyed them. And I've actually been thinking about putting some live bearers in with the Africans here, because they like the same sort of water, and I'll obviously make sure I've got a space to remove them if they get, too much aggression against them. I don't think they will. I don't think the Africans will even pay them any attention whatsoever. They don't pay the plecos any attention. Well, the one that's in there now, that I put in there to deal with those diatoms that you can see all over the place. And she's done a great job with that. Like one pleco. Took her about a week and she's very, very fat now, but she certainly got rid of it all. Yeah, you can definitely hear the sarcasm in that one, Pygmy. I don't think you love winter that much at all. Just imagine you around a pool of love. Derek, you're a game man. A very, very brave man indeed. Geez, I almost coughed in your ear then. Okay, so how long have we been going for? A bit over an hour and a half. I'll try and stretch it out to 2 hours, but I don't know how much longer I will be able to go because it is incredibly hot in this room. It's probably not as hot as I think it is. It just feels hot because it's been cold all year, and now it's no longer cold. Isn't it funny how you can hear her voice when she types? Yeah, you can. Some people, you do that. When James from Fish Room Fever talks, I types in chat and stuff, and hear his voice. When Bob talks in chat, like he just did then, I hear Bob's voice. Same with Thirsty, definitely. You don't have to be sorry, James. I actually like your voice. Except when you try and do that Australian accent, mate. That's like terrible. It really is. But you get away with it because the beard is very much like Ned Kelly. Anybody who doesn't know who Ned Kelly is, Google it. You will see who Ned Kelly is, and then you will realise that Fisherman Fever's beard is absolutely amazing like that. This is the shrimp breeding tank that I was talking about here. So as you can see, there's no shortage whatsoever of shrimp in that tank. And most of them you can't see because they're in that massive carpet of Java moss there. Some quite big ones and quite red ones in there. You know, there probably does need to be a bit of a cull in there. Usually it does need to be. No problem, James. Just speaking the truth. Yeah, it's dry heat here, Stephanie, that's for sure. Like I said, hang on, I'll check the weather. See what it really is. There we go, 33 degrees Celsius. What's that in Fahrenheit? 92 today. Yeah, Ned's kind of a hero here, and the police don't like the fact that he's a national hero because he did kill quite a few police. But, you know, the Irish were persecuted here. There is absolutely no doubt about that. And if you drive a man too far, that's what you end up with. Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they, Chris? I really love them. I think they're awesome. They're quite a bit bigger than that now. Like I said, the latest footage that I actually had ready to go on my computer that I wouldn't have to download or, you know, transfer was from the 19th of October. So the biggest they are here in any of this footage was from then. But yeah, it's just like a swarm that moves across the tank, eating anything that it comes across. So basically these guys get flake foods, the crib babies. They get crushed flake. They get frozen brine shrimp. I got no rain Thursday year. None at all. What else have they been getting? Bloodworms, which the parents will chew up for them. Which I was quite surprised that they'll actually do it. And now, at the size they are now, they're still not big enough to actually eat the bloodworms. But they sit there and they just tear bits off until they get it down. So I watch them, they eat it, it disappears. So there's that. And they get infusoria and some really tiny shrimp out of the shrimp breeding tank. If you look at the close-up footage of that shrimp breeding tank, yeah, the way they school, the way they ball up, the way they move across the tank like this is amazing. I love it. I really do. But yeah, if you look at the close-up footage in some of my movies from the shrimp breeding tank, you can actually see the microorganisms on the glass feeding on the algae. Microorganisms, things escape your head when you need them. Daphnia was the one that I was looking for. Things like that. I would imagine that some of these microorganisms are large tardigrades, large single-celled organisms as well, eating that sort of stuff. And that's perfect food for fry. So yeah, basically I'll just siphon out deep down into that that Java moss in there. Take a bit of water out, take the big big shrimp out of that water and then, tip the water in. And they certainly go for whatever gets tipped in there. So, and their bellies are always full and they're growing well. So yeah, I think I'm doing something right. I hope. And that's the 40 there. Yep, it is, with the ship. I took 4 buckets, 4 10-litre buckets of Java moss out of that tank when I moved it. 3 went back in it. So there is a lot of Java moss in there. And the reason that I love this stuff so much is the way it sponges up ammonia. It just does such a great job of that. And obviously nitrates as well. But yeah, does a great job. Yeah, 4 buckets, mate. 4 buckets. And around here it sells for about $10 for a piece the size of your palm of your hand. So there's quite a lot of money worth in there. There's the old guppy. There's Methuselah. As you can see, he's got no spots at all on his tail. He's orange rather than red. You can see that he used to have them. You can sort of see them around the caudal peduncle there, which is the bit at the base of his tail. But yeah, completely faded, gone. Your bamboo shrimp, Anna? Yeah, it is. That's what really surprised me when I first started breeding shrimp, was how interesting they are to watch. I honestly didn't think they would be. I thought it was just a money thing. But at the time, I actually found myself spending more time staring into the shrimp tank than into the fish tanks. Need rain for duck season. Yeah, we all need rain. We all need it badly. Especially Thirsty with the fires, mate. Is it still burning, Thirsty? I tend to not watch TV, so... When they scratch their backs, yeah, I know. I had no idea until I actually filmed that extreme close-up footage that shrimp scratched. But yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm watching it and I'm thinking, that's really odd. $14 again. Yep. What you'll find is they tend to like old water. So if you put them into a tank that you just set up, especially for them, they probably won't breed for a while, mate. They'll take a little while to get used to the tank. And then once they start breeding, you'll wish that they didn't. Well, you probably won't wish that they didn't because you'll be able to sell them and use the culls for food. So it's not like you don't have enough big cichlids. Thirsty. Some awesome ones, that's for sure. So many arms for scratching with GRB. Indeed. Indeed. Another thing that I've noticed is that shrimp, whilst they are generally peaceful, will from time to time kill each other. I think it might be entirely accidental, fighting over food, but I've seen it happen. And then once one's dead, it goes pretty quickly. They have no shame at all about cannibalism, that's for sure. But yeah, you'll see it, a perfectly healthy one, and then it's not healthy anymore. I just culled some. Yeah, it's just one of those things that with things that breed so prolifically, you have to do. It's the reason that I don't breed convict cichlids. I did once, and I will never do it again because I ended up with 300 fry. And what do you do with 300 fry that have a very bad aggression, a very bad reputation for aggression, there's just not a market for them. You know, there probably wouldn't be a market for 300 in the whole state here. So if I breed them, I know that most of them are going to end up as food for something else anyway. So I don't really feel that that's the best use of my time. But yeah, each to their own. I certainly do cull. Used to cull the guppies, used to cull the mollies. Anything that was deformed had to go. And I believe firmly in that. If it has a genetic deformity, you've got to get rid of it. You have to. Otherwise, you're just weakening the line. You're weakening the whole fish species. I certainly cull the shrimp, and that's not even just for genetic purposes. That's for, well, I suppose it is genetic, but that's just for colour, really. Yeah, don't want the tornadoes, Stephanie. That you can keep the tornadoes. We generally don't get them here. Occasionally we do, but not big ones like you guys. Do we have any television shows dealing with fish in Australia at the Life Aquatic? Fishing, yes, and sometimes they do like exposés on native fish and things like that. But I don't think there's a show that goes into the hobby anyway. Not for keeping them, or just even for studying them. I'm sure there's a few documentaries out there, but not a series, if that's the question. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, like GRB said, there's current affairs shows that do exposés on how the Murray-Darling system is dying, and it is, and it's dying because of foreign companies running things like cotton farms and rice farms and very water-intensive industries in a country that does not have the water to do it. It's a joke, and you know, most of Australia sees that it's a joke, yet the politicians continue to do nothing about it. You know, unless we, vote with our feet and make it very clear that we won't accept it, they'll just keep doing it because they make money off it. It's sick and it's sad, but it's just the way the world works. Dwight, how are you, buddy? Thanks for dropping by, mate. I'll do a Native American dance thirsty. Cool. Get on it, Jess. You should record it, though. Definitely record it. You're transitioning a molly tank to full salt. Nice. Very nice, James. I generally keep them with a little bit of aquarium salt in there, but yeah, very, very lightly brackish, to the point where you could almost keep catfish in it. Well, you could keep catfish in it, I did. Something like 0.5 gram per 10 litres, whatever that works out to in nonsense measurements. Sorry, Americans, but seriously, metric system just makes sense. Hundreds, tens, easy. Sorry, but to an Australian, and an Australian who's very scientifically minded, it does seem like a nonsense system to be using. I mean, I understand most of it. There's 12 inches in a foot, that kind of gear. But why divide by 12s when you can divide by 10? Just doesn't make sense. Yeah, and I think America's like the last holdout, aren't you? There's not too many. Yeah, I think water's drying up around the globe, Anna. And, a lot of people won't agree with me, but like I said, I'm very scientific and I go with the science. I think it's largely to do with us. Planet's getting hotter, and when the planet gets hotter, more water is in the atmosphere and not on the ground. Yeah, it's just that simple. And, you know, people can say that it's not humans doing it. I think it is. I might be wrong. But one thing I know for sure is it definitely is heating up. You know, it's a lot hotter here than it used to be when I was a kid. Where I grew up as a kid used to be a temperate rainforest. So up in the sort of in a mountain valley, it is dry. There are no ferns there anymore. None at all. Not one. All the ferns are dead. Bushfire went through there, burned it all out. Ferns don't come back. So, yeah. The climate is changing. What's causing it is the only thing that's up for debate. I think it's humans. Yeah, well, yeah, science doesn't care what we think. Then you're right. 97% of the papers say that it's happening. And the predictions they made in the 90s came true. I mean, I can't think of anything except that they're right. Humans are the most invasive species on the planet. You are dead right, mate. 100% right. And there is not a continent that we haven't invaded, even Antarctica. There is constantly a human presence there. I mean, it's probably the lightest human footprint anywhere on the planet, but they're there. So yeah, you're right. I've heard it said quite often that humans are a virus. Just a very big one. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I enjoy human company on about the same level as animal company. So, you know, I won't say that I enjoy spending time with animals more than humans, but sometimes it feels that way. Deep sea, we have not made it there yet. No, we haven't colonised it. We've certainly visited, and we're starting to visit more and more. Plastic has, yeah, indeed. Indeed, Pam. Rubbish most certainly has. Oh, really, Chris? I didn't know that. No, without a sub, we definitely can't survive those pressures. The military uses metric. Well, you think that would have spilled over into the general populace, wouldn't you? If the military is using it, because you guys do have a fairly large military, so you'd think that it would spill back over. I suppose it's going to take time, but yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. I'm glad. I'm very glad. It just makes sense. Well, you know, 10s are easy to multiply by. 12s, not so much. Negative civilians are idiots. It's a bit harsh, James. Oh, that was a good cough. That one. Facts don't care about your feelings. Well, they don't. It's true. It's very, very true. You have 2 litre soft drinks. Yay, so do we. Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I guess it's just one of those things that'll take time to catch on, mate. That, oh, there you go. What Dwight's saying. And to be honest, if you asked me how tall I was, I would give you it in feet and inches as well. Well, I'd give you to it in feet because it's dead set straight on 6 foot. So there's no need for the inches part. But yeah, I'd give it to you in feet and inches. You're right. Back, what did I walk into? I'm not sure, Derek. Just me rambling and that sort of thing. Alcohol is in litres too. Yeah, well, alcohol should be. You should know exactly how much alcohol you're having, unlike me today. I think I'm on number 6. And I'm not a big drinker, to be honest, anymore. Getting old. Oh, I know what else I can put on because I think we've looped back around again. I'll throw something else on to keep it a bit interesting. My favourite of the intros, where are we? Was it this one? I don't know, we'll see. We shall see. It is. This is one of my favourites. And before you say it, James, no, you will never live it down. Ever. Best intro. Best intro. But seriously, you need to explain to me how you actually managed to get in there, because like I can't see it. Here's the footage of when I first found the cribs. I was so excited because yeah, it'd been a couple of days and I thought there was none there. But that's how I found them. Be the fish, exactly, thirsty, exactly. Which is actually the mentality that I have when I'm setting up a tank. I try and think like the fish would. Yeah, I have no idea how he got in there, mate. I think he bent the laws of physics to get in there. Yeah, well, I'm sure you will, Chris. They're pretty prolific, that's for sure. But as you can see here, they're parenting together fine. They were fine for about a week, and then one day she'd hate him, one day she'd let him back. And then she stopped letting him back and nearly killed him. That was the other thing that really got me too, the change in the coloration of her dorsal fin. Like it went pink. It had never been pink before. They're such a beautiful fish, though. They really are. Like there's not much that's not pretty about them. Maybe the downward facing mouth, but I think that gives them a bit of character. Personally.
Thirsty thought you meant James in there, Chris, in your show tank. But yeah, I also love how well camouflaged they are. Like the day after I found them, she looks like she's barking at him. Yeah. Yeah. She was definitely in charge too, Anna. There's absolutely zero doubt about that. She would tell him when she wanted him near her, and she would tell him when she wanted him to get away and go and make sure that there was no one coming to eat the babies. She was calling the shots the whole time. I think the problem is that he's smaller than she is, and you can see the damage even here on his fins, and that's not from, well, I suppose it kind of is from kicking him out, but that's mainly from telling him what to do. Like, go away, go check the other side of the tank, make sure there's nothing coming to eat my babies. Oh, she's an awesome mum. And like I said, normally what I found the first time that I bred them, I've bred these guys a few times now, was that after about a month, the parents, I've never had a problem like this where the female has attacked the male before. They've normally been a good pair, good solid pair together. But I did some research on cribs in the wild, and it turns out that they're sort of a harem breeder. So one male will breed with several females, and he'll protect the general area that all of those females are in. But it's not like a pair, as in, you know, the traditional two fish sense. There's actually several pairs with one male between all the females in the wild. So I think that explains why this has happened. It's probably more of a natural situation. But I'd never had this problem before. And I think the reason that I did have it this time is because the male is actually the same size as the female, not larger. I don't think I would have had this problem if he was bigger. Thanks, Jay. I'm trying. Don't know how interesting I've managed to keep it, but you can see there, like, that's shredded, and a lot of fish keepers would get worried about something like that, but that will heal in 2 days, easily. As long as you keep the water clean, I've never found that you have too many problems with it, even without salt in the water. And salt in the water, a lot of people are actually confused about what salt in the water does. They think it kills the bacteria in the water. It doesn't. In low concentrations like that, it has absolutely no effect on the bacteria in the water. What it actually does is it makes it easier for the fish to regulate the amount of fluid that they have in their system. So they're using less energy on regulating their buoyancy and the amount of water that they have in their system than they would be if there was no salt in the water. Therefore, it lets them, their immune system, kick up. And I'm quite confident saying this because this has been told to me by a fish vet. So that's what helps. So it's not actually eliminating the bacteria in the water at all. It's just boosting their immune system. No worries, Thirsty. Thanks for dropping by, mate. I really appreciate it. And good luck at cricket, buddy. I love it. Yeah, and it really does work. It's not something that doesn't work. Like, even fish vets will tell you it works very well. But it's not an antibacterial thing that you're doing. It's just a immune boosting type thing. Another good thing for that is adding some garlic to the fish's food. Vitamin C. You wouldn't think it, but adding vitamin C really does help. Yeah, like I said, I've been doing this for freshwater fish anyway for 24 years, so you pick up a few things over that time. And I'm also a pretty keen student of biology as well. I enjoy it. I'm one of those rare people that actually enjoys spending time learning. So most of the time, if I'm watching something, it'll be a documentary or a HBO series. I quite enjoy HBO. Chewy always has interesting conversations, James, and same with DPK. I think I probably will, Chris. I think I probably will. I generally tend to avoid it. Oh no, no, Bob. I hope it's not Frank. I hope it's not any of them. It's not good, but I really hope it's not Frank. He's my favourite. It's never good news, is it? Yeah. I hope he's all right, mate, or she. Melon's the one that you've had for the longest, isn't it? He, obviously, you said him. And, you know, it's especially bad with an intelligent fish. You know, like, if a guppy dies on you, you don't, it sounds mean, but you don't feel that bad because they're generally a pretty stupid fish. Oh, no, Bob. But, you know, if something happened to Grover, I'd be devastated. Like, you know, he's an awesomely intelligent fish. And me and him actually, and it might sound crazy, have a relationship, you know. We have a routine that we go through every day. Yeah, I hope he gets better. Unfortunately, I'm not a salty. K-Town is. I hope he's got some ideas for you, bud. You know, to be honest, if any of those fish that are up on screen now, you know, were seriously ill, I'd be devastated. And a lot of people who don't keep fish don't actually realise the connection that people who do have with them. Yeah, exactly, Anna. Well, you know, the more intelligent the fish, the more that you're going to be able to understand what they're trying to signal to you, and therefore the more of a connection that you will have with them, in my experience anyway. Thirsty is a perfect example of that. The connection that he has with his Oscars is just phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough about that. What happened? You just noticed he was like that, Bob? Has he been beaten up or? Yeah, exactly, Chewy. Yep, Big J, exactly. Oscars are seriously one of the most intelligent fish that I've come across. And they are exactly like puppies. Like I said earlier, they're smart enough to get depressed. Thirsty, Anna? Yeah, me too. I cannot get enough of it, honestly. You know, he comes up and he talks to them, and to be honest, without talking, in quotation marks, they talk back to him. Yeah, Bob, I'm absolutely useless for you in saltwater, mate. Even when it comes to puffers, you know, I've never had one in the 24 years I've been in it. But you can clearly see that they're very intelligent fish. It's immediately apparent. No, that's okay, Bob. Jeez. Yeah, there you go. Jay, it's his water dog. Yep. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Bob. Well, I don't believe that fish, you know, must have got injured somehow. Got spooked or something and bashed its gill plate into something, maybe. Jace, you made it, buddy. I'm just going to wrench all the Aussies, whether they ask for it or not. They can just deal with it. Now I wish I was into saltwater, Bob. I might have to learn. Just so I can learn a bit more about this sort of thing. Possibly be of some use. Well, no, but that is the hardest part of it, though, really, isn't it? Trying to diagnose exactly what has happened to your fish. Like I said, there's one convict in that main tank now that has got some kind of fungusy, possibly parasitic thing coming off its gill plate. Doesn't look like gill flukes. I'm thinking it's most likely fungus, and I'm hoping to God it's not columnaris, because that's just not good. But yeah, I'm having trouble even diagnosing that, and there's something there to look at. So when you just find a fish in distress and there's no apparent cause to you, it makes it so difficult. And, you know, as much as our fish can kind of communicate with us, they can't tell us what's wrong with them, that's for sure. So it's a case of having to puzzle it out. And sometimes, and it may be this way in this case, you just have to treat for one thing, hope it's that, and if it's not, treat for the next thing that you think it might be. You know, the closest fish vet to me is 2 hours away, and to be honest, it's financially just not viable to be taking fish that kind of distance or having him come this distance, because I'm pretty sure he would charge for travel. And be quite expensive too, and probably not have that much more of an idea of what's going on than I would. I really do need to buy a microscope though. With a microscope, I'd be very, very confident in identifying things. I've never dealt with columnaris, honestly, James. Like I said, I have had mycobacteria or mycobacteria in a tank years and years ago before, and it completely wiped out the tank. And yeah, I'm scared that it could possibly be columnaris. Yeah, I could try a Q-tip with some peroxide on it to get it off. It's only one thing on the gill, and I don't know, it might even just be a string of mucus or something, but I will have to have a look and try and work it out, and try and get hold of a microscope. I'll ask around some of my friends that are in the science business, see if I can borrow one, and then I'll take a skin scraping from on the gill, the opercularum or whatever the hell it is, the gill cover, and see what it actually is. Hey, Cichlid Bros, how are you, man? Thanks for dropping in. Awesome. But yeah, diagnosis is the hardest part, that's for sure. And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to people about today is fish disease. I don't think we really got into it too heavily. It's not exactly a great, uplifting subject, but it is something that we do have to deal with. So avoiding talking about it certainly doesn't help. And look, to be completely honest, I've had very, very few problems with my fish and shrimp. I've had none with the shrimp actually at all. I'm sure they have some tiny little parasites on them or something like that, and I think you can even see that in the extreme close-up stuff. but it's never affected them, and I can't tell that they're there unless I'm zoomed, basically on top of the thing, and there's only like 1 or 2 little white spots. It could be anything. Could just be like an amoeba sitting on the carapace for a second, But I've had very few problems since, and the first one that I've had is what's actually going on now. So yeah, there's no point covering these things up. It happens to all of us. And the more we share how we deal with them, the more we all learn. And that's really the point of what we do on YouTube as fish keepers, isn't it? To try and share the knowledge that we have with other people, so that they can try it out and see if it works for them as well. It was with guppies, which I'd never kept before, and I kept losing them till I figured out what it was, and to avoid that source for guppies. Yeah. Off the top of my head, columnaris is untreatable, or very, very, very difficult to treat. I don't think it is columnaris. I'm not scared, and it certainly isn't on any of the other fish. So I don't know. I have no idea what it is. And to be honest, without a microscope, I have no real way of identifying precisely what it could be. So I'll just have to get that. Where I am, what time is it? Let's have a look. 3:30. In the afternoon, that is. In the wonderful land of Oz. So yeah, Bob, I'm certainly thinking of your puffer there, mate. Alan, jeez. But yeah, Anna, no worries, Dwight. Thanks for dropping by, mate. Oh, here's the doctor. He's back. Oh, well, the guys have been helping me to waffle. Doc. They're giving me excellent subject material. But yeah, Anna, I might actually try a bit of peroxide. Let's see if that does work. Smoking a cig in a hospital car park. Nice. That's just a common bristlenose. So in Ancestris cirrhosis, or cirrhosis. I think C's are pronounced as K's in Latin, but I never do. Yeah, that's one that my guys bred, my 2 adults. I found a few more in the 40 when I moved it, and the adult male, who I actually didn't get to. That's not common looking around your parts for a bristlenose. Well, yeah. To be honest, his parents don't look that good, and I don't think he'll end up staying like that. He's a very, very small specimen. Like that gravel is fairly small, and as you can see, it's quite big compared to him. Blackie risking $150 fine for a smoke. Good job, mate. Good job. Yeah, those parameters are definitely fine, Bob. Even I know that about salt. When am I going to sing? Ed, you're asking a lot of me, mate. You're asking a lot. You might not like what you hear. My male bristlenose is really aggressive. He actually killed the first female one. And, yeah, he's just not a nice guy. Ridiculously territorial. The guppy that lives in there, the old one, he constantly stays at the surface, never goes anywhere near the bottom. Too scared, and I don't blame him. He's a big boy too, the male one. Do some Sinatra. I did it my way. There you go. How's that? We expect certain things. Yeah, well, I did say I was filling in for him, didn't I? So there is that. I've got 6 vodkas under my belt, so pretty loose at the moment. You named him Eek because he always looks scared. That's an awesome name. I like it. I imagined the Pleco singing. Yeah, well, there is that. Still haven't burned any nose hair. No, I don't tend to do that, mate. You can't drink vodka, Blackie drinks goon. Yeah, I know, but I didn't have any goon lying around, Jace. Strangely, I had no goon, but I had some vodka, so... I am an amateur, Doc. I am. But I'm giving it a shot. You know, participation award. But yeah, I think this particular Pleco is pretty attractive for a regular bristle nose. Be interesting to see whether it turns out to be a male or a female. There's absolutely no sign of any bristles growing on the top of its nose, so if I had to take a guess at the moment, I'd go with female. But we'll only see. Keep talking, Rob Bull, don't sing. Yeah, I can do that. I was quite happy to do that. I was just responding to the demand from Ed. The largest one is the blue dolphin that you saw before. He would be about 16 centimeters now, and he will grow to about 22 to 24 centimeters. He might not grow that big though. I rescued him from a friend, and I don't think he was particularly well looked after, to be honest. So his growth might have been a bit stinted. He's Grover's what? He'd be nearly 4 years old now. Not much longer, Jess. Not much longer at all, I wouldn't imagine. Like I said, it's starting to get very hot in here, and at some stage I'm going to have to wrestle that croc again. It's just a thing that needs to be done. You're thinking it's a male? Yeah, it very well could be. It's just very hard to tell without any bristles appearing on its nose. It could be male. Or maybe I just rely on that too much. It always works though. What's that in inches? Okay. Just about 10 inches, I think 24 centimeters would be. Yeah, 10 inches. So he's a pretty big guy, and you know, he should get a little bit bigger at least. He's certainly grown a lot since I've had him. Like, you can see that in the footage. The next video that I'm putting out that I've been procrastinating on doing the audio for is actually one that's updating on what's been going on in that tank, because there has been a few different things going on. And what I've done is I've actually put some old footage up against some new footage, like 2 lots of footage on a background, so that you can actually compare them. And you can really see how much he's grown, and you can really see how much the peacocks have grown, because I bought them as juvenile adults and rescued the ones that I rescued as juvenile adults, and they've grown a lot. And the electric yellow lab has grown heaps, especially when I compare them, because the LFS that I bought him from, the yellow lab, they've still got all his brothers and sisters in there. They really haven't sold many of them at all. So yeah, I can see how much he's grown compared to them, and it's more than double. Oh yeah, I just have to do the audio for it, Jess. So it'll probably come out in the next day or so. I really need to get some out so that I can get through this backlog of intros that I do have. I've got a second one from Dr. Black. He sent me 2 to choose from, so I'm going to use the second one, obviously. Got one from Thirsty, got one from Dawn Michelle, got one from Daniel Keeping Fish. So yeah, it's there's some big intros to look out for. Aquafunk promised me one, but he still hasn't done it yet. Pam promised me one. She still hasn't done it yet. Hint, hint, Pam. Pammy. My Pamela. I need that intro. But yeah, I do need to get some out so that I can catch up on them. Oh, I thought it was just a kind of cool thing to do. To advertise other people's channel. At least one every video that I make. It's like a karma thing. If you support other people, I'm sure they support you back. It makes me laugh every time I say it, but yeah. Your red devil has a huge cock. I'm sure he does. I thought he was hurt. I'm convinced those are actually for ramming things, to be honest. The way my blue dolphin uses his. He loves to ram things. Like, he rams the decorations and stuff. He knocked that wooden log thing, the fake wooden log thing, off the top of that the other day. How the hell did you do that? She's frozen at the moment. She needs thawing time. Yeah, I can see that. Cocks are for ramming. I didn't even think of it that way, to be honest, but yeah, fair enough. It works. I literally have tears at the moment coming out my eyes. I think that's funnier than I probably should think it's funny. I should be more mature at my age, but I'm totally not. Boys, yeah, you're right. Oh my god. I totally didn't mean it that way. And I would like to point out that when I said cock, I meant the KOK version, that is the big hump that is on the top of cichlids' heads. But geez, how did I find that so funny? That's wrong. I should be more mature. Completely unintentional too. I didn't even realise that I was saying it until my aquarium show pointed it out. Oh God, Jess. Try and recover now. I don't think the 6.5 vodkas is helping either. Me be more mature. And Jess certainly isn't helping me be more mature either. Don't encourage me like that, Jess. But yeah, I am convinced that the large hump that is on the cichlid's head is for ramming stuff. Because he likes to bash his head into things. I think you actually are, for once, the most mature person in here, Pam. I mean, that doesn't often happen. 8 vodkas make you mature. Ah, okay. Okay. People aren't believing you, Pam. Based on the evidence, I'd say she probably is getting close today, though. Chris has been pretty mature, though. This isn't right, Pam being the most mature person in there. No, yeah, I agree. It's not right. It's not normal. That's for sure. Fish Tropic, how are you, man? Thanks for joining. Champion. Stop swinging that wrench around. There you go, Fish Tropic. Now you've got one to swing around as well. Do you want one, Anna? I did say if you want one, just ask. I might have missed some people though. It's the only one you've got. Yeah. I'm just following Fish from Fever's lead. You know, wrenchathon. Throwing heat-seeking wrenches around, mate. Pam is so mature, I think she might be fermenting. Ooh, harsh. And brave. You just smell like it, do you? Yeah, I can't see this ending well either, James. Not at all. Ooh, I can highlight comments. I forgot I can do that. Which means that I can see Zen Ginger's. logo close. Oh, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. My old eyes can't really see it on the small thing in the chat on YouTube. But I forgot that with StreamYard, I can make it bigger. That is lovely. Your husband is very, very good. The aquatic plant market. It's pretty good. Like it's probably not that much different to the US in regards to common plants anyway, I would say. There probably are quite a few that are banned though. We do like to ban things that are not native to this continent. For good reason. We brought quite a lot of things with us that weren't, and none of them have turned out very well. Anyone here watch that movie Rabid? No, I can't say I have. What's it actually about? Tropic. Just in case what, I'll have to time out myself. Yeah, it could happen, Anna. You might feel the need. Plenty of Java moss here at Rob Bulls anyway. Yeah. There's tons of Java moss around here. Honestly, it's the only plant that I use. Everything else I just use fake. Because, you can't kill a fake plant. And honestly, you can't kill Java moss either. Or I've found it extremely difficult. No worries, Jess. See you later. Thanks for dropping by, mate. I really appreciate it. It's about people turning rabid. Yeah, I probably could have guessed that. No. It ties back into the earlier thing about being lazy. But I do keep moss in every last tank. I believe in keeping plants for the biological reason of keeping plants, and Java moss fulfills all my needs in that respect. And if I want pretty plants, the silk plants look pretty real. So generally most people can't tell the difference. Or if they can, they have to look pretty closely. Oh, there we go. Grover doing a bit of a dance to try and attract the females and chasing her like an idiot. What do Aussies do for Halloween, and what is Halloween to me? Chewy. Hornwort too. Yeah, GRB. Hornwort's pretty easy to keep alive. What do we do for Halloween? No worries, Fish Tropic. Thanks for dropping by, man. For Halloween, we never used to do anything at all. It just wasn't an Australian holiday. No, the cichlids don't eat it at all. Don't touch it. I actually haven't come across anything that eats it. It must be horrible tasting. Literally, I haven't found a thing that eats it yet. I don't keep snails in there though, so I do want snails. I just figured that I would always pick some up by accident, and I haven't, so I'll have to go out and buy some. Real plants do give it a more natural look, but I've always found that, especially when the Java moss grows over the fake ones, it's really hard to tell. I heard you ride kangaroos and try to lasso dingoes. No, we don't. Back to the Halloween thing though. We never used to have it, but in recent years it's very, very popular now. And I take my nieces and nephews out trick-or-treating every Halloween. So it has become a holiday here, probably in the last 15, 20 years, I would say. But I think it's more of a commercial holiday, selling masks and candies and stuff like that. In America, people dress like Halloween every day. Yeah, but back to Anna. The cichlids definitely don't eat it. The peacocks and Grover generally don't eat very much vegetation at all. They don't like it. They'll eat algae wafers, and I try and make sure that they always get some. But if I put plants in there, they generally like spinach or zucchini or something like that in there. They generally won't touch it. The electric yellow lab does. Zucchini in particular, he doesn't really like spinach. And the convicts will eat basically anything. There was one thing that happened that I just didn't have my camera charged at the time, or I would have taken some awesome video of it. I left some blanched spinach leaves in there overnight, and the convicts must have eaten them all. This was before I put a bristlenose in there. And the next morning he had this massive poop hanging out of his butt. It's like big brown long thing, but at the end of it, it looked like it had two sprouts, like leaves, that were parts of the spinach, and it looked like he had a vine growing out his butt. Like it really looked like that, or she had a vine growing out her butt. It made me laugh anyway. Like I said, I'm not that mature. I would like to get into more plants, my aquarium show for sure. Yes, poop talk, but only fish poop. You've had that happen too, Pam. Yeah, well, it's like Pam's stream. Exactly. Pam's stream always goes to poop. And to ghosts. And to Thomas, who we salute now somewhere in a Burger King. The ghost of Thomas cries out, "Wait for me." Is he getting any better, Bob? I hope he is. Yeah, we're back to the dog shots again. We most certainly are. They're pretty cute puppies though, aren't they? I think they are anyway. They're purebred English staffies, those two. Good on him. I hope he makes it so much, mate. Is it easy to maintain a saltwater 10-gallon? I mean, it's not easy to maintain a freshwater 10-gallon. So I imagine it must be quite tricky to maintain a hospital tank with salt water. Well, you know, obviously having not done it, I wouldn't know. Yeah, Thomas, Derek. Not as easy as a 125. Yeah, well, that much is obvious, but yeah, I would imagine that it's very difficult. That's the only reason I mentioned it. I had small salt, cost 500, and I killed it all. Oh God. Yeah, Jace. I just honestly fear that I'm too lazy to look after it properly. Yeah, smaller systems are way more fragile. You know, swings are much bigger in a small system than they are in a big one. Threw it all in the bin, never again. Yeah. You know, I felt like that in the freshwater hobby a few times. I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have learnt all the things that I've learnt, and I wouldn't be able to maintain, you know, healthy, beautiful fish like the ones that I have. So there's that. But yeah, definitely a few times through this hobby I've thought, nah, I've had enough. This isn't worth it. Go slap some paint around, Pammy. Show us how much you can paint a bit. I have loads of money into my nano reef to try and prevent swings. Yeah. The smaller the tank is, the more drastic the swings can be. Then again, I've got to say that my backup shrimp tank that I use as a hospital tank has been running for 4 years now, and I've never had a problem with it. And that colony continues to go on and on. They breed enough to maintain probably about 60 or 70 shrimp in there, I would say. And it never seems to get more than that in it because that's all the bioload can handle. Shrimp seem to be very good at pushing the very edge of the bioloads that a tank can handle, and not crashing the tank. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it's what I've found anyway in my experience with just the red cherry shrimp. As I understand it, the more fancy blue types and yellow types and orange types and things like that are a bit more difficult. My W tank became a shrimp factory. Yeah. You would need to be chilling a salt tank today, Rob Bull. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They obviously don't handle swings in temperature very well because it takes a lot to heat the ocean up. You know, the ocean doesn't swing around in temperatures like saltwater can. Which is one of the reasons that I think these desert gobies will be really easy to breed. From everything that I'm reading about them, they're a survival artist, even more so than bedders. The range of temperatures that they can handle is something like from 8 degrees Celsius to 48 degrees Celsius. Like ridiculous temperature swings. And they live through it. They can breathe air like a bedder, which I found was pretty amazing. I didn't know that. Our summer temperatures, yeah, they're ridiculous too. Where acclimate is in Melbourne, it's probably a little bit easier, but I'm a bit more towards the centre of the country in Bendigo, and during the summer, the hottest day that I've had here is 47 degrees Celsius, so I don't know what that actually is in Fahrenheit, but I know it's hot, like real hot. Funk! G'day, brother. How are you? Thanks for dropping by, mate. I does appreciate it. Yeah, use the 10, yeah, for dosing. Yeah, that is the good thing about small tanks. You don't have to use as much medication. Oh God, I hope so much that he makes it through. In Texas, it can get over 100 for months on end. Yeah. Yeah, it's like that here too. Yeah, I'm wondering about. So they obviously predate on their own fry, but are you having some? So you have them, GRB? I know you've got all kinds of cool gudgeons and stuff. You got some awesome fish, actually. I really like the sleepy cod. I'm really going to have to look into getting some of them. No worries, Derek. Thanks for coming, man. You have had them. Okay, cool. Did you find that they bred enough without you having to take them out that some of the fry survived? Or am I going to have to devise some way? Because I think they're cave spawners, I think. So am I going to have to devise some way to get them out is what I'm asking. There's not a great deal of information on them out there. That's the only thing. There's not a great deal of information on many native fish, to be honest. Not enough, anyway, that's for sure. Oh, DPK, thanks for coming, man. And thank you for doing my logo, everyone. DPK did the logo for this channel. He's an awesome guy. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And he's a, you know, top bloke as well, so there is that too. You did yours too, Bob? Yeah, he's great, isn't he? Absolutely fantastic at it. He is responsible for quite a few logos, I believe. Fish Room Fevers as well, I believe. The man is a virtuoso. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm running out of stuff to talk about. So far, I can tell Aquafunk what I've been up to. What we've been talking about is I've been looking into some native Australian fish to keep and to breed that are either threatened or endangered. A species called the desert goby. I'll show you some pictures. I showed everyone else earlier. I can show you guys pretty easily. Stop sharing that screen and so these are the desert gobies here. That's the male is the more brightly coloured one with the blue on its dorsal fin there, and the female is the plainly coloured one. Oh, really? Did it start doing it again, Bob? That's not good. Yeah, so that's the male and the female desert goby. They live in central Australia in the desert, and sometimes their habitats can be smaller than your kitchen table. They're quite adaptable and tough little fish. Can handle huge swings in temperature, salinity, things like that, and can actually breathe air like a betta. And then I'll try moving it a bit closer to me. Maybe that'll help. I'm kind of loath to try unplugging and plugging things back in after last time. It took me ages to fix that. And the other one, which actually lives around me that I'm planning on breeding for release, is this little guy. It's the southern pygmy perch, or Nanoperca australis. So you can obviously tell it's very Australian. And yeah, this little guy is endangered in the rivers around where I live, and threatened throughout its entire ecosystem. So I will be, well, from what I've heard, they're easy to breed, so I should be breeding these and releasing them into the wild around here. Oh yeah, I think he's cool too. They only grow to about 7 to 8 centimeters, so they're quite small. And they're cold water fish as well, so they don't need a heated aquarium at all. But can handle very hot temperatures because it gets quite cold in Victoria, Australia in the winter, but it also gets extremely hot in the summer. So big swings. So yeah, I think this little guy will be awesome to have. I can't wait to have them. Apparently the males are a bit territorial, but I don't foresee them being any harder to keep than cichlids. So. Oh, okay. We can actually collect them from the wild. You can't release fish without permits. if they're native, you can. And I am going to be working with the local city council here. They have a program to breed them and release them already. With the lady in Bairnsdale who's breeding them. She's one of the only people who breeds them in Australia, as far as I've heard, that the government knows about anyway, because that's how I found out about her. I went to a government agency and asked them about that particular species of fish, and they mentioned all this to me and mentioned that my local city council was had a program to release them back into the wild. So I've just gotten in contact with a guy on my local council who's in charge of this project. So it will all be legal. There definitely won't be anything illegal about it. So I'm really excited about that because, you know, it's my opportunity to do something for the environment and my local environment. I'll go back to video of the fish swimming around and stuff. I don't think I'm going to keep going for much longer, guys. Like I said, it's incredibly hot in this room. Like, incredibly. And I'm very much starting to run out of things to say. Or another CARES rep so that America can get them. Yeah. No AC, not in this room. I do have, but only in the living room. Hey, Sailfin, how are you, man? 3 hours is a big effort. Yeah, I did say that I would only go 2. But, you know, I do always enjoy talking to all you guys, whether I'm streaming or somebody else is. So it's always a fun thing to do. But yeah, so before I wrap it up, has anyone got any questions or anything that they want to talk about? You don't need content now, DPK and Chewy are here. Yeah, true. I can just let them talk between each other and everyone can learn something. Cribs indeed have a cool face, mate. I do agree with you there very much, Jason. They are awesome fish. I love them. Oh, thanks, JRB. I tried. I even tried singing at one stage, mate, and I can't sing for the life of me. I was trying to think of a way to say that without swearing, and I was a bit struggling just a touch. No, it's cool, Sailfin. I'm really glad that you came in and checked it out. I've had great fun doing it. Hopefully next time I can get a webcam set up. I plan to do it on the laptop, but the laptop died. It's weird hearing your name. Mr. Funk. The funkiest man around. Night, Anna. You have a great night too. And thank you very much. Like Shatner, you reckon? Now I've been compared to both Shatner and Morgan Freeman. I've been called the British Morgan Freeman, which I didn't know whether to take as a compliment or an insult, because I'm certainly not British. You know who you are, James. I thought it was really funny though when you said the British Morgan Freeman. I did laugh for quite some time. And I did contemplate making a March of the Cichlids movie, like a little short trailer for it or something. I'd love you to narrate my GPS. Well, I probably could. There's probably an Australian that does it. You can probably choose an Australian accent. We can choose American or British or Australian. Or... There you go. Stephanie's all over it. Yeah, Funk, there's a couple of people that you can get yourself in real trouble with calling them a Brit. Irish people, Scottish people, Australian people generally. New Zealanders are generally too nice to get offended by anything. Bit like Canadians. You're the perfect example of a tropic. You're one of the nicest guys on YouTube, dude. You offend people for a living. I didn't realize you were a politician, James. And that's about as close as we'll go to politics. Your fairy's coming. No worries, Blackie. Thanks for letting me fill in for you, mate. And thanks for stopping by, of course. Night, Chris. You fell asleep. It was that exciting. I do not blame you one little bit, to be honest. All right, guys. Well, it has been absolutely great. It's gone a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Thank you guys for sticking around. You guys are amazing. Absolutely love you guys. But I think I do have to wrap it up before I turn into a puddle of sweat. Thanks, Stewie. And thanks, guys. I hope I wasn't too boring for you guys. And yeah, I'll try and find a slot where I can do this a bit more regularly. Maybe not every week, but every couple or something like that. And yeah, guys, thanks so much for coming. Remember, look after each other and your fish. Bye.